Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Come to you live from the outskirts here, and it's the Gaming Saloon for February 23rd, 2025, with your host, Peace248, on Ramp It Up Salon.
Hi.
We have a state of play and a bunch of other random stuff. Is the best way to put this list.
You mean a state of Uprez?
It's a state of Uprez because of Xbox and their continuing desire to just be stupid. God. Because I don't know if you looked into that one before today.
Nope.
Fair enough. It is stupid. Pure, unadulterated stupidity at its finest.
So Microsoft. Noted.
Yep. But before we get to all of our wonderful news and stuff, Tommy, what have you been playing the last couple of weeks?
Outside of one thing, not really a whole lot. That one thing being Spider-Man 2.
How has the Spider-Man 2 been?
I'm oddly surprised at how smooth it runs on my computer kind of deal. Because I would not have expected that.
Yeah.
I can honestly say, out of the three Spider-Man games, Spider-Man 2 is the jankiest of the three in terms of the PC port.
Well,
I've had about 3 times that I've had to reload a checkpoint because it decided to do its own thing, and it didn't even know what it did.
Yeah.
I've had times where I think 2 of them was I smacked an enemy and they somehow went through the collision for the floor or the wall and got stuck. And the game refused to treat them as dead.
I feel like I've had that on console for like 1 or Miles.
I know one on console has that problem because there's actually some exploits to use with that to get out of bounds.
Yeah.
To my knowledge, 2 does not have that on console.
Mm-hmm.
Another one that I had, which was weird, was just I killed everyone, didn't even hear anyone in the floor or anything, but it's like the game just forgot to hit the trigger for the next thing. It's been weird things like that, but a reload checkpoint's good enough, and it fixes it.
Yeah. I think the only other problem I had with Spider-Man is for one random crash to home. Like the home menu for PlayStation 4. It hard crashed to the PlayStation home menu.
That's funny.
I was just swinging around. I was doing nothing, and it just hard crashed. I don't know what caused it.
They probably just got something jumbled or forgot to load something that procced right then.
I guess.
It probably was a crime that tried to load that wasn't supposed to load right then, actually.
Probably because, like I said, I was just swinging around. I wasn't in a mission. I wasn't doing anything in particular. I was swinging to and from, and it just hard crashed.
But yeah, I mean, overall, I like it. I don't care for the gadget change as far as controls. I kind of liked what they had for Juan and Miles, but at the same time, I understand why they had to do that. So I'm like, okay, yeah. I can deal with this. This isn't horrible. I just would have preferred the other way.
I like my weapon wheels, I say, as a longtime Ratchet and Clank fan.
I think with me, I don't like it because it limits us down on gadgets.
Yeah.
Because we effectively have 5 web gadgets, because you might as well count shooters as one because they were considered one in Miles both.
Yeah. I just found it weird. They're like, we're going to give Miles more gadgets. And I'm like, why don't you give him more fancy electric powers? That way they play more differently.
And I think that's where the problem with 2 came in.
Mm-hmm.
They had to give Miles more powers. They had to give ability to let the Venom suit have powers. They retroactively implemented the Ock arms, which was kind of the intro to that stuff. I almost feel like, and I know from a gameplay perspective you don't want to do this, but I almost feel like Peter without the symbiote, Peter with the symbiote, and Miles all 3 forms should have had their own playstyle.
Mm-hmm.
You should have had base Peter with the Spider-Man 1 playstyle. Let Miles have some kind of a hybrid between that and the new style, and then let Venom be the third style that implements what they've got here.
Yeah.
I get what they had to do and what they were trying to do. They were trying to make it less convoluted, but I almost would have preferred if it was. It would have felt more immersive and would have felt like each of the 3 variations would have been their own thing.
Yeah. At least I can say it is a step up from Rift Apart, which in Rift Apart you get to play as Ratchet and Rivet. They are identical. There is no difference between the 2 of them. I think their melee combo is slightly different, but they are identical characters. They have the exact same guns. When you buy them as one character, the other character gets them. They share guns, they share ammo, they share everything. So at least it's a step up from that.
It's like a half a step up from that.
Yeah.
Because yeah, Miles has different abilities than Peter, but they both are pretty much the same.
Welcome to the spider problem that people complain about all the time in the comics, where it's just like, all right, we have 20 Spider-Men. How do they differentiate from each other? How are they different?
Well, yes and no. Because here's the funny thing. This isn't the first game that's had multiple Spider-Men in it.
Yeah.
This isn't the first game either where the different Spider-Men had different movesets that, even though they shared a base, felt different.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel as much of a difference between Peter and Miles. It's there, don't get me wrong. But I don't feel as much of a difference between the two of them as I can honestly say the 4 from like Shattered Dimensions. It almost feels like we're close to there, but something's limiting it that I don't realize there.
I wonder, because I know they completely did the New York map for this game. I wonder how much that cut into everything else, because it does feel like, I recommend one of the folks I follow, Monty Zander. He did his deep dive into Spider-Man 2, and he talked about, it's like, I love this game, but also, why are there so many problems? I still love this game, but oh my god, some of these things are inexcusable.
See, I would think you would be onto something with the map.
Mm-hmm.
Except most of the map had already been done for 1 and Miles.
Right, it was completely redone from 1 and Miles. I think Insomniac confirmed that by this point.
But positioning of stuff on the map and everything like that isn't, meaning that it would literally just be redoing textures and maybe changing a few buildings here and there.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning most of the map is practically a copy and paste. Most of the hard parts of the map, at least.
Yeah.
So I don't think the map is the cause of it.
Mm-hmm.
I almost think it boils down to pressure was put on too hard.
Yeah.
1 did good, the DLC did good, Miles did good. Oh, we're gonna do it 2? Do it now.
Mm-hmm.
What do we put in it? Everything.
Yeah, because I also...
And I think that is kind of seen in it. And I'm not saying it's bad. It's just, it could have been better.
Yeah, I also look at like the budget numbers for 1, 2, or 1 Miles and 2, and like, why is 2 twice? It costs twice as much money as Miles. Why? Literally,
Hollywood
why?
syndrome.
How?
Hollywood syndrome. The actors probably negotiated for bigger after seeing what happened, as probably did the developers.
Because for reference, folks, Spider-Man did 100 million, or what costed 100 million. Miles costed 150. Spider-Man 2 costed somewhere in the range of 300. How?
And I'll be honest, really, I don't think Miles should have costed more than the first. I really don't.
Not by an extra 50 million.
It was a shorter game.
Yeah.
In every sense of the word. Two being more than both of them combined, I could see that.
Mm-hmm.
I still feel like, while it's good, it could have been better.
Mm-hmm.
I also think that part of the problem is actually very visible with the PC port. It obviously got pushed out too early, otherwise it wouldn't have had all the problems at launch. The other two didn't.
Yeah.
The other two had minor issues that got fixed quick. They didn't have nothing major. I think Sony pushed too hard with it.
Mm-hmm.
Which is probably the reason we didn't get any DLC for 2.
Even though they had plans for it. Like, we legitimately know they had plans, and then I guess they got scrapped because, oops, Spider-Man 2 underperformed. I guess we're not doing the DLC. And I think they're now... I have the feeling that they're scrambling to try to get Wolverine out the door now. Because we know it's deep into development. But we've heard high nor hair of the game, and I think they
no
said
pun
they were
intended.
supposed to... Yeah. They're supposed to be out this year. or at least they're supposed to talk about it this year, and we've again not heard them talk about it for 2 months out of the year so far. Like, I feel like the state of play we just had would have been a perfect place to be like, hey guys, remember Wolverine? But wasn't there. So I don't know. Some part of me feels like maybe Insomniac buying, or Sony buying Insomniac might have been a terrible decision, which, yeah, probably.
And by no means am I trashing Spider-Man 2. It's just a case of I've watched the game be speedran and played through before buying it, so I already knew. But then actually kind of getting my hands on it, I'm like, yeah, this is good, but it could have been better. This could have been the game that made the other two look like they were the learning curves.
Yeah.
Instead, it looks like this one's the learning curve. And it's like, what?
And you tease introducing a spider, technically it's Silk, but a third spider person probably to be playable in some capacity at the end of this game. And I'm like, okay, how are we making her different?
Well, I mean, from a technical standpoint, we don't have to.
Yeah.
Because which Insomniac's playing by their own rules here.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I'm not mistaken, we never actually technically found out Peter's origins in the games because of the fact of, you know, he was already Spider-Man for years by the point we started playing.
Yeah, if it's in there, it's in one of the backpacks from 1, probably, if it's there.
So what that effectively kind of gives that opening for is, I know I saw something about in the comics, Silk is bit by the same spider that bit Peter.
Yes.
We probably can't have that happen because that spider's probably not around anymore.
Mm-hmm.
We know Miles' spider's not around anymore.
Yeah. Gwen is non-existent, and I think the reason Insomniac did that is because Gwen was going to be part of their Spider-Verse multiplayer game, and then they shit-canned that for good reason, mind you, because absolutely don't attempt a live service game unless you're committing to it 100,000%. So with that knowledge now, I'm guessing that is why we heard no mention of Gwen in any of the Spider-Man games.
What
not confuse people.
What wouldn't surprise me, the way Spider-Man 2 ends, if Silk becomes a spider person, I think they would pivot it to a point where it would be unintentionally Peter's fault.
Yeah.
Just because of the way Spider-Man 2 ends, I would think that it would unintentionally be his fault. Because, you know, the Parker luck.
Mm-hmm.
It's odd because we're also still teasing another villain that could be there for Peter even. So that makes me kind of hesitant on them going forward with him being quote-unquote retired. Because, let's be honest, we're still missing a certain green villain.
Yeah, that's kind of also the setup at the end of 2, and I'm like, Peter, you can't be retired. You haven't fought your nemesis yet. Literally. Your nemesis doesn't even exist yet, and we've teased him across all 3 games now.
Uh-huh.
Because there's basically the Goblin Tech in 1. Norman doing his shit at the end of Miles, and then here he is, he's in once more in 2.
That's why I almost think it's going to unintentionally be Peter's fault.
Mm-hmm.
or Silk being Silk kind of deal in this universe.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be some kind of Oscorp something that Peter had his hand in, thinking he was doing it to help Harry, and then come to find out that no.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah,
that could then tie into both Green Goblin and Silk at the same time.
But yeah, I do recommend anyone listening go watch Monty Zander's Spider-Man 2 deep dive. It is 3 hours, but he gets into basically everything you can with that game. Also, take a shot every time he bangs on about there's no credits to all of the suits and where they came from in that game for the 3rd game in a row. He bangs on about it a lot. Which I say fair, but also damn.
Fair, but even that little bit of text and designing where that information would have to be in the layout would probably inflate the game so big that it's pathetic.
Yeah.
To this I say though, why didn't we have a visual manual or something with like the concept art for the suits and like an image of the final version where we could credit it, do it as its own download thing? Then yes, it's not in the game, but it is adjacent to the game and available for people to see it.
Yeah, just, hey, this suit's from the comics. Here's who made the suit to start with. Here's the ones that are original to this game and who designed them. Also, since Hasbro's making figures now for Spider-Man suits, where's my goddamn strike suit figure? Where's my goddamn Kamen Rider Spider-Man suit as a figure?
I'm a little aggravated they took out the Peter's Goku suit.
Oh, is it like the really bright red and blue one?
It was in 1, but it's not in 2.
Yeah, I think it's that. I didn't care for that one, to be honest.
I didn't either, but the simple fact that Miles has one, it's like, no, I want them both together.
That's why I'm like, people who mod Miles, where is my mod for Miles that forces a suit change for all like 5 minutes Peter is in that game? Like, I want Peter to be in whatever suit I want in that game, just because.
I'd venture to say probably because since he's not playable, that might not be actual in-game cutscenes.
But yeah, they're probably pre-rendered.
Yeah.
Just so dumb, because like the other Spider-Man 1 cutscenes are not pre-rendered. Or some of them aren't.
But most of those can be in-game because it's only handling people that are actually physically playable.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I think that Miles might be that way. Because otherwise, why wouldn't they be able to do that? Why wouldn't they be able to, at least, especially on the PC or the PC or PS4 versions, either one, be able to look at the save data for the game and pull your last suit?
Mm-hmm.
That's one of those. I'm like, yeah, something seems off with that.
Mm-hmm. That it?
Yeah.
I have not done a whole lot because last week I think I've been asleep more than I've been awake. But I have been exporting a ton to the YouTube. If you're on the YouTube and subscribe to us there, you'll have seen that this last week of streams have went up live for you to watch. The backlog's not going to go up until sometime in March, probably towards the start of March. It's going to start with, I think I'm just going to start with all the 2025 stuff, just so that's out, because for the most part, that'll complete everything that would be currently up there. I'll probably round out anything 2023 wise, since that's partially up there already, and then it will go old to new. Because I think between the two of those, I should have enough time to make sure everything's exported and I've gotten everything sorted playlist wise. And then in terms of how things are going to go up, it's going to be like 3 times a week, 6, 12, 6 a day. I'm going to do it by playlist that I've created. So like all of Rampant Gaming for a year is going to go up first. And then like all of Weekly Co-op. And then like all of TGS. And then all of a specific TGSR. And then all of one of my things. And then I'm just going to cycle through that basically until everything's scheduled. It'll take like, I don't know, like 3 or 4 months for everything to go out at that rate. Because it's like 2,000 some odd videos, but everything will then be viewable. And I'm also doing it that way. That way, if you like the thing that went up a day, basically all of that thing should be up by the time you've watched one video of it. So you can just binge the rest. And you're not waiting, I don't know, like several days to like several weeks for that thing to show back up, because I would be doing it in reverse chronological order.
You might also take into consideration the event stuff that we've done.
Yeah, the event stuff would be like in there. Well, like the year-end extravaganza would have its the year-end extravaganza has its own playlist right now from last year, and Randomania from last year has its own playlist. And like relevant pre-shows are attached to those as well. Did I do a playlist? I think I did. I did. I have a playlist for Speedrun Bootcamp right now.
And I don't remember. I don't think I cleared them out in Notion, so you might still have the old stuff listed in there too.
Mm-hmm.
No, I might have cleared it out. No, it's still in there.
Yeah. I will say, if you do want to help me with something, sorting playlists would help me in the long run.
I can try. I can't guarantee nothing.
Yeah. If you like sorting, like the podcast ones would probably help. Since that's just that thing and be done. Or like the year ends and Randomanias, sorting them would be fine. Since I have that, I think I gave you that link to that document, right? Make sure. Where is it? There it is.
Oh god, I have not updated the TGSR one in a while. Now that I'm looking at it.
There you go. It's a bit crude, to be perfectly honest. From like 2023 backwards, since I
don't think we really had a whole lot major kind of deal, so.
Yeah.
Oh, third browser, this is gonna be interesting. Wait, what? That was weird. Google had me signed out and I shouldn't be. Not on this browser. That's why I was like,
Yeah, 2024 is a lot cleaner because that's the list I had before all this shit happened. 23 on back is crude because I just copied text from how it's ordered on Twitch and just pasted it into a document.
So, fun fact. Be careful on your dates, because what you got on the 24 page also is 25. And all of them are doing that.
Oh, what, the YouTube date?
Yep.
Oh, that's just because I copied the Excel sheet. You can ignore that.
Oh, okay.
That was when the video was going to go out when I originally planned all this. So yeah, you can ignore that column entirely. That is no longer relevant to this to what I'm trying to do. Besides that, Zenless started their fishing event, and unfortunately, they did it kind of badly. So there's like multiple fish and multiple other things you can catch, and there's only 4 times a day in the game for you to catch fish in. A majority of the fish are catchable on 3 of the 4 days, and at multiple of the same location. So there's not a whole lot of diversity in terms of where you're fishing for the most part. So you end up with a lot of the same stuff a lot, and there's no way to adjust that and like make sure you get new stuff. Which sucks. They did it bad. Thanks, Oyo. Besides that, I would say I'm going to work on an Ace Attorney 2 manual, but the YouTube export takes priority. I'm probably focusing on that for the next 2 weeks until it's done. But yeah, I guess anything else?
No.
All right, to the news. We had a state of play. It was fine. As to someone who watched it live, it was fine. It was probably the best state of play we've had in like months, which isn't saying much. Just 2 state of play agos was the Concord one. I checked. But showcasing off Borderlands 4. Which comes out this spring. It certainly wasn't Borderlands. I think I completely just zoned out on that one.
Not spring.
It says. Oh no, gameplay reveal will debut later this spring. It comes out the 23rd. There's going to be a dedicated Borderlands state of play. Yeah. Yeah. I looked down and saw the spring part, and it's like, oh wait, oh no, that's their state of play, and then they're releasing 23rd. Hooray! Darwin's Paradox is a quirky little platformer where you're an octopus man or an octopus friend trapped in a factory and trying to stop them from taking over the world. This looks kind of neat. Coming out this year, Dave the Diver is getting Yakuza content. Ichiban's Holiday, where they're putting in a whole ass fucking side-scrolling beat 'em up into Dave the Diver, which is normally like a fishing game. I don't know why Dave the Diver is doing all this random content, but they sure are getting people to try to play their game. Days Gone is getting a remastered. It's coming out April. Why? Nobody liked this game. Nobody cared about this game. Why? The thing that got me the most hyped, and the thing I thought was dead when Bandai Namco said that they canceled a bunch of projects. New Digimon RPG! This is Digimon Story Time Stranger. It's basically a JRPG, but Digimon. You get Digimon as party members, you digivolve them to their different forms and stuff. You do battles, you do boss fights, and this one you can ride around on your Digimon to explore areas and stuff. It's really good. If you've played either of the Cyber Sleuth, well, the one Cyber Sleuth game and its one expansion, because I really don't count Hacker's Memory as its own game, to be perfectly honest. If you played them, same people. This was like the most excited I got the entire state of play. Unfortunately, I knew about this beforehand because GameStop put listings up. Also, this is coming to PC, so I have no desire to buy a PlayStation to play this. Good job, Sony. Directive 8020 is the thing in space. Dreams of Another is where you are shooting stuff to create things in a pixelated, dusty world. It's very weird, but I kind of dig it. Like this is like the most different kind of thing you can expect for a video game, and I'm kind of on board with it. FNAF has a new game called Secrets of the Mimic.
Anyone that's watched any theory videos about it already probably knows about that one. So
yeah, I can imagine. I have not watched the game theory video in quite some time, so
YouTube keeps hiding it, and then when I spot one, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go back and see what I've missed.
Like,
I hate the YouTube algorithm.
It has not popped in my algorithm at all.
I hate the YouTube algorithm for that. It's like,
everyone
really
does.
I want to watch the people that are actually subscribed to. How about you show me that, not show me adjacent stuff to that?
Hell Is Us, which is a Souls-like game. I think we've had a trailer before, has another trailer. It looked okay. Liza P is getting some DLC in the form of Overture. Hooray! Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza had a nice little trailer come out before it released because it's out now. I watched Frog play some of it and fell asleep through the rest of it because that's how my sleep schedule is. Lost Soul Aside. I think it's another Souls-like. I think, yes, this is another Souls-like. I think this is a solo developer, I think. I heard SkillUp say, I think. I don't remember. But it's another Souls-like.
Yay, another one.
Yeah. Metal Eden is some FPS game I don't remember offhand. Metal Gear Solid Delta had a new trailer showing itself off. It is still weird to be like, wait, all this audio is reused, but all the graphics are upgraded. Okay. It will have the Ape Escape content that the original game had. So you can go around capturing monkeys in this game. Mind's Eye is some Grand Theft Auto cyberpunk-esque game that I immediately watched and went, I'm bored. This is boring. I don't care. Why are you trying to be Grand Theft Auto? This is clearly trying to be Grand Theft Auto, except for super serious and like military espionage tactical. I'm bored now. Can we go move to the next trailer, please? Monster Hunter Wilds had another trailer before its release. They showed off the Mitsuzune from Rise is going to be a part of the post-launch updates. Onimusha Way of the Sword had another trailer showing off a lot of its combat and stuff. It looked good. It's not a Souls-like. It's just a straight action game. Hooray! They also showed off their remaster of Onimusha 2. PlayStation Plus stuff. Saros is a thing. They're from a dev. I don't remember the dev, but they're from some specific dev, but it was a nothing trailer, so I didn't care. Shinobi Act of Vengeance is a side-scroller. I think it's just a side-scrolling action game. It looks really pretty. I like it. Like, damn, this game looks really good. Sonic Racing Cross Worlds had a trailer showing off a bunch of its gameplay and stuff. The beta is out right now. They do a cool thing where after the first lap of the map, the person in first place chooses what track you're going to next to continue the race, because you'll have two options and you get to choose which of the two options to continue the race in. And like full kart customization, like you can fully change the body and the chassis and all that. I saw a picture, someone recreated the Mach 5 in the game and it looks pretty accurate. Split Fiction is from the Take-Two people. It's another one of their co-op games. It looks fine. Splitgate 2 is that Portal FPS. Silverblade is getting some Nike or Nikki, not Nike. That's a shoe brand. Nikki DLC. Midnight Walk, which is that stop motion VR / not VR game. Tides of Annihilation was what they ended on. This is a straight up action game. It is not a Souls-like, even though you might think it's a Souls-like based off the trailer. No, it's a straight up action game. Thank God. It looks cool. IGN had like 10 minutes of gameplay on that they showed off.
It's an action Souls-like game.
No Souls. It is just action. No Souls. There is no Souls bullshit bolted onto this game. It's just a straight action game. You're apparently playing as Guinevere, trying to assemble a pseudo Knights of the Round Table to save the world from a calamity, apparently, in modern times or something. I don't know. I didn't pay attention that much to the story. I was just like, oh, cool action game. Hooray. Warriors Abyss is a roguelike Warriors game featuring all the Dynasty Warriors characters. Apparently it's good. WWE 2K25 showed off their island. Would you care to guess what the island is?
What?
Do you remember PlayStation Home?
Not really, no.
Okay, you know how we have these lobbies where people just sit around and do nothing before they get to play a video game? It's that. Yep, it's that. You just walk around, interact with shops and stuff that could just as easily be menus and supposedly be able to interact with players in a thing when it could just be fucking menus. Why? No one wants these. Stop making them. Stop it. People just want a menu so they can go click, click, play video game.
The appeal of those lasts for all of about 5 seconds, and then you get tired because you don't remember where everything was.
Yes! Just let me go through menus like a normal person. Stop making me have to walk around in a virtual environment because I'm not interacting with anybody. No, I don't want to interact with anyone who's not my friend. And if they are my friend, guess what? I'm on Discord with them.
And I still don't want to interact with them in the game.
Exactly. Just let me click 2 buttons and play video game. I don't want to walk for 20 seconds to go to a thing to then play video game. The only cool thing about this could be is if I got to be in the audience while people are doing wrestling matches.
Now, see, something like that would be cool. Where you could basically walk around and potentially walk up to be part of the audience for a match. That would be cool.
Yes. Like, if it's not an island, it is just, hey, you are in the stadium, and here are wrestling matches that are happening, and you can hop into the audience and watch wrestling matches. And if you're really fancy, you can interfere in those matches. To be a dick. That's fun. Walking around fucking Roman Reigns' private island is not fun. Anyway, that's basically it. How do you feel about the state of play?
Meh.
Accurate.
Meh.
Just because I said it was the best one in a few months does not mean it was good.
I mean, meh.
I came away excited that Digimon game that has been technically announced for 2+ years and I thought was honestly canceled doesn't save you from being a meh show overall, to be perfectly honest. Like, hey, cool, action games only get you so many points in my book just because I'm tired of seeing Souls like number 749.
I'm still meh.
Yeah, like
Like all together, the only thing that even remotely has me a little curious is the Sonic Racing one. Only because I like All Stars transformed kind of deal.
yeah.
Outside of that, nothing's really got my interest, meaning I really don't care about the state of play because guess what? That Sonic game's a Sega thing, not a Sony thing.
Yeah, the Digimon thing's a Namdai Banco thing. Again, not Sony. It's not even. It's coming to PC. I don't even have to buy a PlayStation 5 to play
I'm sure
it.
the Sonic one is too.
Probably.
That's why I'm like,
PS...
I don't care.
Yeah.
I hate being that way, but I don't. Sony and Microsoft just don't have anything going for them right now. Because literally, and I can say this now, literally everything that would have made me even ponder getting a PS5, I do not need to get a PS5 for.
Yeah.
I literally talked about the thing that I have played that would have been one of my driving reasons for it. Just saying. Is it good that Sony's putting stuff on PC? Also, yes. Is it hurting them overall? Yes. It is Microsoft able to make any decent games? That's debatable.
If they could, not have to hire people for 6 months and then not have them work for like 12, that might help.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah. But, I mean, Microsoft having the questionability on if they can even make an actual good game anymore, coupled with the fact that Xbox is everything, makes me not care for an Xbox either. Meaning Nintendo is the only console. Just saying.
This is where I will also once again mention Halo Infinite costed $600 million.
Why?
I don't know.
All they did was build a box. That is a $600 million box is all they did.
That is still one of the most insane things on that budget chart. I think I've showed this on stream, I know. I just don't know if I've shown it for a TGS or shown you or passed it to you.
I don't think you've passed it to me.
Okay, hang on.
All I know is that is ridiculous because that is a box that doesn't need to be. That is a box that doesn't need to be. Period. I'm just not even.
Yeah, this comes from a finance company that did a big PowerPoint presentation on video games and all that, and these are all the confirmed budgets they have for the last several dozen years, about a dozen or so years of big AAA games. And I feel like every time I hear someone be like, I want a AAA Kamen Rider game, I go, no you don't, because no Kamen Rider game should ever be on this chart. It should be down there in the $50 to $100 million mark. It should not go above that because it's not making that money back otherwise. I can guarantee that. I know.
I started to make an argument for Infinite and saying about the multiplayer, except for excluding live service content / support. Meaning that is only the single player that costed that much.
That is Halo Infinite's cost at launch. Period. That it does not account for how much money
have enough. It doesn't even have enough story to be competitive with Halo 4. So they have made they have made an almost $500 million box is all they did.
And look at the stark difference from Halo 6 to Halo 5 to just Halo 4. Halo 4, a little over $100 million. Halo 5, between $150 and $200 million. Halo 6, $600 million.
Now granted,
How?
The only argument I could possibly have here, Halo 4 was running a new engine, wasn't it? I don't think it was running the Reach engine. I think it had its own then. It might have. I know 5 had its own engine because that's why they did 2's anniversary upscaling in it.
4 was on the same engine as Reach.
Okay. So then that would have been why its cost wasn't as bad.
Mm-hmm.
So we're seeing an engine swap is the big issue for the over 50 million between them two.
Nope, Halo 5 was the same engine.
Was it?
Yep. Infinite's the only one that was on a different engine of the main Halos.
I could have swore 5 had a different... Well, and by main, you're meaning main 343 Halos.
Main Halo's going all the way back to CE.
Nope, then I know that's wrong.
Oh.
There was an engine swap back then.
Okay.
Yeah, it is not running the CE engine all the way to 5. That, no.
Yeah, because the chart I see says that CE 2, 3, Reach, 4, and 5 were all Blam. 2A is multiplayer is Blam. 3 ODST is Blam. Apparently CEA and 2A are a Saber 3D Blam hybrid. And then all of Destiny is on Tiger. And then Halo Infinite is on Slipspace. But yeah, I still think it's insanity of just like, how did you make a Halo game that costs $600 million fucking dollars? Besides, you took an eternity to make the damn thing, and say most of that was just paying employees to make a game. I also look at Call of Duty and be like, how the fuck does Black Ops Cold War $550 million? How?
Okay.
Why?
Okay. I see why you're getting that information.
Okay.
The Halopedia even has it listed as games released on the Blam engine or a descendant of it. It's not the original, it is a modified from there.
Okay, so
I just don't remember if Reach and 4 used the same version of it or not.
I think the one I was looking at said 4 was running on Midnight Engine, which I guess is a derivative of it. Like way up in the corner, it's like Midnight Engine for Halo 4. And that might be what 4 and 5 are running on.
Might be on that then.
Mm-hmm. Also, when I put this in the chat, someone was like, "Oh, where's GTA 6? Oh, it's probably off the chart." And I'm like, "Yeah, I think people are ballparking that is costing $1 billion." And I'm like, "That's about to be $1 billion flop because there ain't no way in hell there's gonna be enough people to play that buy that game to make that thing profitable. No way in hell. Ain't no way." And we will be worse as an industry if they make GTA 6 cost like $100 or something. Because people will incredibly be like, "No, I'm not paying $100 for fucking GTA. Fuck off." Anywho.
So I am right on that then. It had a lot of upgrades over the Reach version, so 4 was essentially different, just not at its core.
Yeah.
So, all those modifications for 4 and 5 could explain those two. A brand new engine costing that much, really?
And you're abandoning it to go like Unreal Engine. Meaning all that money and time put into that engine are now fucking wasted. Because you are abandoning and moving on to something else.
Way to go, Microsoft. Way to go.
Any other thoughts before we move on?
I mean, you know, what's next? We're gonna make an entire ecosystem for Xbox just to throw it away and say that Windows is good enough? Yep, I went there.
I can't believe both. I can't believe sometimes when I just hear certain people talk about, "Oh, look at Sony and Microsoft, they're doing so good," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, they certainly are doing so good that they're copying Nintendo. If they're doing good, why are they the ones copying Nintendo and not the other way around?"
Uh-huh. Which Nintendo's never been one to be like, "Yeah, we're gonna copy." So, I mean...
Yeah. But again, why would they bother copying Nintendo if they're winning?
Yeah.
Like if you're telling me that Sony is the one or the kings of the market right now, I'm going to say, which console is highest performing of the current ones on the shelves right now? On the Nintendo one.
But here's the thing. Sony is the lead for the home consoles. Nintendo is the lead for hybrid consoles.
Because I also have to point out, like, whose margins on games are wide enough that they can have more games to sell? Oh, right, that's Nintendo, because Sony's margins are razor fucking thin on all their games because they put too much money into them. Anywho, we should move on.
Yep.
NetEase is apparently shelving a lot of their international studios, or trying to shelve a lot of their international studios. They're also trying to shop around them. Coming from reports from various different people over this last week. Because this also came off the backs of NetEase closing down the US studio that was supporting Marvel Rivals. Because people saw that they shut down a studio that was making Marvel Rivals, and that was kind of misreported or misread, really, because it was not the main studio that made Marvel Rivals. That's in China. The support studio that was doing, I think, just some support work and I think some translation work, that was only like 8 people, is what NetEase shut down. And apparently NetEase is trying to divest themselves from a lot of their international studios, which, you care to guess what those ones are?
What?
Quantic Dream. You know, the Beyond Two Souls, Heavy Rain, that one Star Wars game that was announced at the Game Awards like 3 years ago, Quantic Dream, that no one wants to work at. I I didn't realize NetEase owned them until I saw that, and I was like, what? What? What do you mean? But what? Grasshopper, Nagoshi Studio, Pinnacle, GP Track 50 Studio, Studio Flare, Jackalactic Games, Anchor Point, T-0, Rebel Wolves, Skybox, and a bunch of smaller devs are the ones basically NetEase are trying to shop around to see who is willing to pick them up or if they're going to shutter them outright. So basically, you know all that crap that happened with oh crap, I can't remember their name. No, not Devolver. Embracer. All the crap that happened with Embracer is basically happening here at NetEase. So more layoffs in the industry. Any thoughts?
Nah.
Also, oops, I forgot that I included this as an article in itself, but yeah, there's the article talking about the US-based dev team. That's only like 8 people, which, again, that's still more people laid off in this industry. We shall move on to the next one then. So Microsoft and Xbox have announced a new initiative. They're going to use AI technologies to help Uprez older games. Where's the quote? Let's see, let's see here. I guess this will count. Thanks to this breakthrough, we are exploring the potential of Muse to take older back catalog games from our studios and optimize them for any device. So yeah, they're gonna use AI to make their games compatible for current hardware. Why? Why? Why?
I mean,
why? What brainworm has possessed whoever in charge that makes them go, yes, we must use AI. We absolutely must use AI. Even though nobody else wants to use AI, we must use AI. Because I believe I saw talk that, like, there's people at Xbox that are like, this is stupid. This is a bad decision. And everyone, and the sentiment has apparently been, well, the higher ups want it and we can't change their mind.
From a game's preservation standpoint, though, I kind of can understand it. And I can point people to one simple game that actually has had re-release. So it's not completely lost, but its original version of it is. Halo 2. It came out under the Games for Windows back in Vista's age.
Yeah.
If you do not have a Vista computer, you could not install it easily. You have to jump through all kinds of hoops, and I think after 7, you have an even harder time. While that PC version is part of Master Chief Collection, that's not completely lost, but that original version is. If it's used to try to fix stuff like that, where it may be a way to help bypass certain locks like that, then I could see that being fine. If this is simply just being used to, oh, we're gonna upscale it using AI, yeah, that is stupid.
Yeah, because I will point to, hey, you know those definitive editions of GTA 3, Vice City, and San Andreas? You know how they all turned out like shit because all they did was upres everything using AI and called it a day? Yeah, that's what happens. You need people to do work, to make things good. You cannot give it to a robot who doesn't know dick all about anything besides what you tell it to make things good. They won't.
That's why I'm saying if they're using it just for compatibility purpose, that would be fine. Because essentially you're telling it, make this work, do what you can without breaking it to make it work.
Mm-hmm.
If it fails working, start over, try again.
Yeah, that is iterative AI instead of generative AI. But I think these might be generative AI.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's generative AI, which means it's fucked.
Yeah. That's why I'm like, depending on how they're using it can be the question. If they're using it purely to upscale and say, oh, there it is, no.
Yeah.
If they're using this to try to go in and say, okay, we've got this one game that can only play on one PC setup, go in, break it, make it work for today's. That could be helpful.
Yeah, because for people that don't know, there is a difference between generative AI and iterative AI. Generative AI just grabs whatever and attempts to output something new. Iterative AI takes a specific set of data, attempts to identify the thing you're trying to identify with that set of data, and when it doesn't, it tries again and like takes in more specific data to do this. Iterative AI actually is used a lot in medical fields for cancer identification. Like, it helps doctors identify cancer early on because it's able to identify cancer cells that maybe wouldn't be missed otherwise.
And yes, the option that I gave was more that way instead of for the way they're going to try to use it. But it could still use that same principle and still be used. They could feed it, say, Halo 2 that could only run on Vista and say, hey, this thing can only run here. I want you to make a one-to-one copy that can work on anything. It would still be able to use that, but kind of in that gray zone of in between both forms. That could work too. Again, I don't see Halo 2 being a reason for them to do anything like that. Master Chief Collection, I know from CE side of it, supports all the same mods that Custom Edition did, so it should handle any Halo 2 mods too. So there's no real reason in it. But I'm sure that's not the only thing that is locked behind the games for Windows. That's one of those, if they're using it to try to fix, that's one thing. I doubt it though.
Yeah, I expect nothing good from this because Microsoft is just a bag full of terrible decisions lately, and they cannot not fuck something up.
Yeah.
Anywho, anything else before we move on to better things?
No.
All right then. Out of nowhere, we're getting a 2D action RPG game based off Samurai Pizza Cats. I don't know why. I even looked into the dev, and this is like one of very few games that they have worked on. Actually, this might be the only game they've worked on, I think. Yeah, this is the only thing they've worked on. But this just came out of nowhere, and it looks good. Like, this is apparently going to be hand-drawn animation, just like Cuphead was. But I'm like, first of all, why? Second of all, why is so much effort in here? Because I know the trailer doesn't show a lot of gameplay, but it shows a little bit of it, and it's like, oh, that little bit of gameplay actually looked pretty good. It looks like you're going to get to walk around an overworld, get into random battles, and then those random battles are on like specific terrain and stuff. And there'll be like side-scrolling moments as well. But yeah, this has no business being looking as good as it is, but also I'm kind of on board. Fuck it, let's go. No date though, so don't expect this anytime soon, I guess. You can wishlist it on Steam, which I did, which you should. If you like it, do wishlist it on Steam. That is good for devs. Do you have any thoughts?
Nope.
All right then. And news that I accidentally crushed somebody's hope on Twitter. So I saw this through them and then looked into it. So we're getting a trilogy of Neon Genesis Evangelion games. They're going to be VR games. Specifically, they are XR games. Now, if you're like someone who tried to say and tell me in the Discord, XR Games is a studio, you are correct. But also, would you care to guess what an XR game is?
You already told me, so.
Yeah. Basically, XR games are VR games with extra bits and stuff to help with immersion. They're essentially 4D versions of VR games. Hooray! And the first one will be out next year. I kind of felt bad when I told the person that like this is a VR game trilogy, and they just show a gif of a kid running into a glass door and just falling over, like oh. I'm like, yeah, sorry. Do you have any thoughts?
Nope.
Fair.
Oh.
All right, last up, and something I'll be doing a live reaction of on Thursday. It's a Pokemon Presents week. Thursday, February 27th at 6 a.m. Pacific, 9 a.m. Eastern. I had to take a moment to be like, wait, no, convert real quick.
Or yeah, look over at the right.
Yeah, I'm stupid. Yeah, no other details besides, hey, it's going to be the Pokemon Day presentation. I actually looked because someone asked how long the Pokemon Presents is going to be, and nobody really knew yet because we don't have that information. No Pokemon Presents in the last few years for February has been over 30 minutes. They've always been around the 20 to 25 minute range, sometimes less than 20 minutes, actually. But we have over 30-minute Pokemon presentations in October, but not in February.
Which is weird because that's usually when they are releasing the games.
Yeah, the first one I checked, I think might have been last year or year before, but it was detailing Scarlet and Violet DLC, which is why it ran like 30 minutes. Because it was detailing all the things about the DLC.
Huh.
So yeah, expectations are Pokemon ZA, because duh.
Yeah.
But I have two questions. First, how much bollocks will you have to sit through in order to get to the ZA presentation and or anything else that you would probably care about? Because all of these presentations start with about 10 or so minutes of mobile game and other miscellaneous bollocks that most people probably watching these probably don't care about. So what's your over under?
Huh.
That's like the most difficult question you can ask anyone about this presentation. It's just like, how much bollocks will there be?
Well, see, part of me feels like I want to say higher and say like 15 minutes. The other part of me is thinking, okay, A to Z is possibly going to be a close to launch for Switch 2.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning they'll end the show with that, probably.
Yeah.
But what if we're going to get another mainstream Pokemon game this year, too? And by that, I also include the remakes.
From what I remember of the Terra Leaks, that is not in their plans at the current moment.
Okay.
But
Take leaks with a grain of salt.
Yeah. But I did see a different rumor that wasn't substantiated at all, that there was apparently going to be a Classics Pokemon collection of 3 varieties, collecting basically Gen 1 through 3, I think.
And I could see that being the thing that's led before going into Z to A, because they're going to hold back as much as they can on the Switch 2.
Yes.
And if they do something on point with that, then I would lean towards the 10-minute mark.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of those somewhere between 10 and 15 minutes. I think it's going to depend on what all's on the slate.
Yeah. I am keeping in mind that we have a Nintendo Direct in 2 months after this. So I'm like, okay, how much is here? How much is at that Direct?
Most of it's going to be here.
Yeah.
Console-specific stuff will not.
Mm-hmm. I'm also wondering if they can show a whole lot if it's, say, a cross-gen title. Like if it's a Switch 1, Switch 2.
It probably will be a Switch 1, Switch 2 release.
Right, which means that they can talk about more about it because it will be on Switch 1.
That's why I'm like it's gonna depend. I think if we don't get a secondary one, it's probably gonna be the back 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
If we do get a secondary one, it's probably only gonna be 10 minutes. It's whether or not it's the middle 10 or the last 10.
Yeah.
With the other being the other big thing that they're doing.
Yeah. Also, I forgot to put this in here, but I saw it when I was looking for other stuff. Niantic is apparently trying to divest themselves as well from a lot of their gaming studios, which includes Pokemon Go. They're apparently trying to sell that off to, I think, was it Saudi Arabia? Yeah, to Saudi Arabia. So I don't know what Pokemon Go's future is, I guess.
I guess
if there is a future,
it might be going away.
Possibly. It wouldn't surprise me. It felt like Pokemon Go lost a lot of its steam after a while, and it's kind of just still here, I guess, but not much more. Honestly, I'm gonna say it's gonna be over. I think they're going to, this is going to sound terrible, I think they're going to do a really dumb, and they're going to do another teaser that's going to give us some information about ZA, but not a super whole lot. It's going to be less than people want. And I think they're going to disappoint people, because I don't think they're going to show a whole lot of the game. I say this half challenging them to say otherwise, but I don't think they're going to show us as much of ZA as people want.
That's kind of where I'm leaning with the whole 10 minutes and then having something else that's big.
Yeah.
Because they're going to try to derail it enough to where people are like, well, we didn't get enough Z to A information. And then others are going to be like, but you did get this.
You get to pay for Red and Blue again, but this time you can transfer those Pokemon to other Pokemon games for realsies this time.
Again.
Because they already did that. Yeah. Again.
But everyone forgets about Let's Go, so it's fine.
Mm-hmm. Well, not just Let's Go. The 3DS versions. I think. Was it 3DS? They did some re-release of Red, Blue, and Yellow at some point that I forgot. I forgot when it was. But you could transfer from them.
Oh, yeah. It wasn't a re-release though. It was the virtual console stuff on the 3DS.
Yeah, it was some version.
I was sitting there thinking, wait, no, the only remakes that they had was the Fire Red, Leaf Green, and then the Let's Go's. And then I was like, oh right, yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking like actually play through broken Red, Blue, and Yellow.
Yeah.
Which, because I've seen a video of one person doing a Nuzlocke while showing off all of the dumb glitches and bullshit you can do in Red and Blue, because the thing is held together by tape and hopes.
Yep.
Has made me go, At some point, I would like to learn any percent red and blue. Like, just straight any percent red and blue that you can do in like 20 minutes.
I was going to say the 5-minute category.
Yes, I want to learn one run that is ace based. And I think Pokemon's probably the less complicated one, because I think Ocarina of Time is way more complicated and technical to do a lot of the ace stuff there. But I think Pokemon is like, the barrier to do the run is a lot less in Pokemon than it is in Ocarina, of the two ace runs I know. But I would like to learn an ace run at some point. Just so I can say, oh yeah, I've done an ace run. I've done the real dumb shit.
I would kind of be down to joining you with that.
Mm-hmm. Next time we do a thing to learn a speed run, that'll be my suggestion. But the second question I have for this Pokemon Presents: what is your one left field pick for this Presents? It can be anything, just not ZA, like basically not ZA, not a next gen Pokemon. What is the out of left field spin-off or some other thing that they're going to show off here? If we're lucky.
I have zero idea. Like, legitimately. Because I'm like, Because at the same time, I almost want to take off the table the potential rumor for the Gen 1 through 3 thing that may or may not become a thing.
Yeah, the thing I mentioned.
Yeah. Since that is something that people would already have an idea for.
Yeah. I know I heard a suggestion when hearing about predictions for the Pokemon Presents: a Pokemon tier for Switch Online.
Only if that meant that we got a completely separate emulator app that only housed the Pokemon games and actually had access to being able to take those Pokemon into current gen stuff.
Yeah. Like
Only.
basically, give us all of the 2D sprite animation Pokemon games in one app, and then you might have my money.
And they have to have
home compatibility.
Home integration.
Mm-hmm. Like, do that, and then you have my money. But otherwise, no. I think mine, I want to say like Snap 2, like a new Pokemon Snap 2. But I don't think they'll do that, because I don't know if that new Snap did well enough for them to do another one. Maybe a new Pokemon, either a new Pokemon Stadium or a new Pokemon Puzzle League. One of those two. Because I think enough people will pop off for a new Pokemon Stadium, and I think I personally will pop off for a new Puzzle League. You will make me and Ty Tuesday and then like maybe 6 other people happy about a new Puzzle League, and that's about it. We're the only people who love that game. Yeah, like I said, I'll be doing live reactions on that Thursday. I'll probably be live like 5 or 10 minutes beforehand, just so we're all nice and settled for it when it happens. You probably won't be doing anything after it since it'll be so early in the day. Besides the usual cat stuff at night, but that's a given. I guess any other thoughts on the Pokemon Presents?
Not really. I am giving you a link though. Might want to keep an eye on that one.
Yeah.
Especially since I know you're usually on top of the events and stuff, but it is nice to see that, you know, someone actually has a list of all of them.
Oh my god, yes.
So that might be beneficial. I happen to see that on one of the articles, and I'm like, I'm gonna look at that here in just a second.
A part of me kind of hoped that they would link to their recap articles of the shows that they were already over. Granted, none of these are done yet. Hang on.
Yeah, go back one, and I'd say it probably does.
State of play. No, it just is a link to the event itself.
Okay.
Darn. I was like, no. Because like Destructo used to be my go-to for recap articles, and then they stopped doing them. Thankfully, Sony does their own recap articles, and Microsoft does their own recap articles. It's just when the Nintendo Direct happens, they don't do a recap article that has everything listed with relevant videos and all that. It's just, here is basically the press release, and I'm like, I want more than the press release, damn it. Oh, look, they list Digicon here as well, since Time Stranger will be there. I think that's the only reason they have Digicon listed there. But yeah, here's hoping for good things at the Pokemon Presents. Otherwise, oh no. Shall we move on to releases then?
I guess we shall.
All right, we're gonna kick off on the 24th with Blasphemous for the iOS. On the 25th, Godzilla X Kong Titan Chasers for Android and iOS. On the 27th, Yu-Gi-Oh's Early Day Collection for Switch. That's a collection of a bunch of the GBA Yu-Gi-Oh games.
You missed Clover on the PS5.
Oh god, oh no. Yes, I did. I skipped right over it. Glover for the PlayStation 5. Glover. Oh my god.
I spotted it and I'm like, yeah.
I completely forgot that was happening because I'm pretty sure someone I follow has said something about Glover on PlayStation 5 because look, Glover is not good. It is not a good video game. But do not tell people that. Just tell them, hey, Glover, look, it's Glover. You've heard about Glover, right? Go play Glover. Inflict it upon people.
Which, okay. I am one to admit that Glover is not good. But I recall when I played it when I was younger that it wasn't that bad. I want to try to play it again just to see if I was right or if I was stupid then.
I have never played Glover, but then again, I have my own game of, I swore this game was good as a kid, and then I look back at it and go, oh god, what was I thinking?
Right? And that's kind of where I'm sitting with this. I'm like, okay, I have seen people's complaints on it, and I'm like, okay, fair. So was it just that I was blind to the bad, or what?
Because mine is Hey You Pikachu. You know,
I don't think I've touched that one.
That's the voice-controlled Pokemon game for the N64.
No,
No, No, it's basically Lifeline, but for Pokemon fans. And it's clearly established from everyone who has played Lifeline that Lifeline is bad. Now take that one generation back and slam it on the N64.
I wish there was a good way to do the weird peripherals in emulation, but there's not really a good way. Because I would so be like, okay, that is 2 weekly co-ops that we've just got planned right there without even trying.
Lifeline has to be working because there's a retro achievement list for it. And I have seen Ty play it like this last week or so. So it is working.
I'm sure you can make any of it work. It's just how much hoops are you willing to jump through to make said thing work?
Mm-hmm. But yeah, there is Glover for PlayStation 5 on the 27th. And then, like I was saying, before we got slammed by Glover, Yu-Gi-Oh! Early Days Collection. That's all the weird early GBA, like, I think Game Boy as well, Yu-Gi-Oh! Games that are questionable in quality because the mechanics are not quite Yu-Gi-Oh! Because back then they decided not to follow standard Yu-Gi-Oh! Rules and have their own made-up bullshit rules. It's one of those games where it's like, okay, what's the fusion chart? What do I need to slam together to make a fusion? Because it's those mechanics. Look, I have a website for Duelist of the Roses that I just plug in my deck. Like, you can plug in any starter, any of the standard decks, and then modify from there, and it just gives you all the fusions you can make. I have that for Duelist of the Roses. Anywho, on the 28th, Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon Classic Edition, Collector's Edition for Xbox One. Monster Hunter Wilds for Series X and PlayStation 5. Here's hoping y'all have good Monster Hunter. I can't play it. It ran like shit for me, so. Skip on down to the 4th with Age of Mythology Retold and Immortal Pillars for Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5. Carmen Sandiego, based off the Netflix series for Xbox One, Series X, PlayStation 4, 5, Switch, Android, and iOS, is probably shovelware as fuck. But I am surprised that the show has been over for several years now, and they're just now coming out with a Carmen Sandiego game. Where was this several years ago when the show was relevant?
Non-existent.
Apparently. Power Wash Simulator Wallace and Gromit Special Pack for Series X and PlayStation 5. On the 6th, Phantom Brave, The Lost Hero, Bonus Stories, The Liar and the Lost, and The Wandering Pirate for Switch. Split Fiction also for Series X and PlayStation 5. Sorry, We're Closed for Xbox One, Series X, PlayStation 4, 5, and Switch. And then Suikoden 1 and 2 Remastered, Gate, Rune, and Dunen Unification Wars for Xbox One, Series X, PlayStation 4, 5, and Switch. Let's see. On the 7th, Funko Fusion for PlayStation 4 and Switch. For all those who want your discount dollar store Lego game. That is terrible.
Yep.
Oh, I
licensed discount.
Several dozen licenses, mind you. There are dozens licenses in there. I didn't think you could really make a bad Lego game until you make boss fights are hit the boss a bunch of times to collect orbs and then put the orbs in the machine and then do that for every single boss. Who hurt you? Devs of Funko Fusion. Who made you think that was a good idea? Who made you think that was fun? That's not fun. That's a terrible idea.
Well, see, here's the problem with that. You told someone who isn't the Lego devs to make a Lego game.
What's hilarious is we had 2 of those in the same year. And one of them is still technically a Lego game. Because a reminder, Lego Horizon is not made by Telltale. or Traveler's Tales. Why do I always mix those two up? It is not made by Traveler's Tales. It is made by Gorilla. They made their own Lego game. For some unexplainable reason, they made their own Lego game instead of farming that out to Traveler's Tales. It is still baffles me. But yeah, that's basically the highlights. You can find the full list in our notes. Anything else?
No.
I've realized I have not had my settings turned on for my mic this entire time.
Good work.
Oops. Anywho, like I said, Thursday, doing the react to the Pokemon and then CAD stuff that night. Friday we're doing Friday we're doing Ridercraft.
Well,
right.
I'm debating on that. I'm thinking I either want to do more Ridercraft or us do KH2 co-op using the way that we were seeing Spike and Zach do for that tournament.
Yeah. Which is I guess multi-goal is the best shorthand for it.
Probably.
Since you have
proofs
goals
or bounties kind of deal.
But yeah, that will be Friday. Saturday, we start boot camp for Ratchet and Clank 1.
Nope, we're still in February.
Wait, no. Oh right.
We get the salty run back.
Right. No, we do the run back on Odyssey co-op, so we can actually get a proper run timed. I forgot. Completely slipped my
my
mind.
computer hopefully doesn't decide to implode.
Yeah.
I don't understand why that happened. That should not have happened.
But yeah, it's the Odyssey run back so we can have a time. And then next Sunday, it's our final 4 episodes of Drive. Will also be the first TGSR of Drive getting uploaded to YouTube. Thanks, Twitch. That'll be not confusing to anybody who doesn't watch us on Twitch and just sees us on YouTube being like, why have they only ever reviewed the last 4 episodes? And why are they acting like they've reviewed all of them? I don't see that.
Granted, I mean, in all seriousness, you could bag.
I could. Especially because the Drive playlist is already created. I have thought about inserting some of our other older ones that would be relevant to the playlist, but I probably won't. Since there is a TGSR we have for Drive Ghost and also a TGSR for Gaim Drive.
Truthfully, I would, because we made comments about we've already covered those.
Yeah.
So actually, I probably would on that.
They are deeper in the backlog though, so it'll be a while before they're up on the YouTube to be sorted accordingly. I would still sort them into what they were meant to be, which was our like mini run through bunch of the winter crossover films.
Yeah, but they can be double playlisted.
Yeah, that was if I decided to do that, that would be the plan of just like, here is just these, and then here the playlist is with the crossovers inserted in where they approximately would have been if we were covering them this time around. I did think about, because there's a podcast thing you can do, like a podcast list instead of a playlist. I thought about doing a podcast list that is just the podcast minus the pre-shows.
I don't know if you can do it with the video side of it. I think it's got to be uploaded as audio only kind of deal.
Oh, okay.
I've not looked into that, but I spotted it and I'm like, well, that's new.
Yeah, I saw it, and I saw I was gonna attempt to do it, but they said it needed a specific like cover image. And I was like, I am not making one at the moment, nor do I have one available to really like test with, so I'm not gonna bother.
Oh wait, no, it says you can set an existing playlist as a podcast.
Oh, okay. That was another thing I was going to do. It was like, oh, all TGS is for here. Here is the playlist with the pre-shows, and then here is a podcast list that is just them, if you wish to just listen to them.
Yeah, that's what I would do with that then.
Yeah. Yay, more work for me.
I mean, that'd be clearly post. It all getting there and getting playlisted and everything.
Yeah, it's just one of those, well, more work for me. Guess it's my job now. Fine enough. But yeah, in 2 weeks we will talk games again. We'll talk whatever happened on the presents and whatever else happened between now and then. I can't wait because you know, this is the last week of February, meaning this is the last possible week we can have a Nintendo Direct in before we have no Direct in February.
Yep.
We are probably not going to have a Direct in February. I can't wait to be proven wrong in the next week. By the way, here's a Nintendo Direct in March, and I'm like, you fucking assholes.
That would be funny.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, between now and then, if you like what you see, and drop a follow, really appreciate it. Exclamation point YouTube and chat will give you the link to the YouTube so you can see our archive in full. Eventually, it'll get there.
Eventually.
Yep, it's getting there 100 videos at a time because that's as many as YouTube will let me export before it yells at me to say, do more tomorrow. And I'm like, all right, see you tomorrow. Exclamation point Discord in chat gives you the Discord link, and exclamation point social in chat gives you the handles for all of our social media so you know when we go live. And we'll see you Thursday, folks.